Well, hello again, everybody. As you can tell, I'm talking again, which means they've left me in charge
That was a
again.
mistake.
It very much was a mistake, but that does mean we have something new and exciting here on Bay City Chronicles. Uh, we are going to be turning away from the superhero side of things, at least for when I'm now back in this the Catbird's chair here. As you can see on your screen, it's a little bland, but we have a nice little symbol there and a little title. We're going to be doing some Dungeons and Dragons. So we don't have the full crew here yet. Some family things got in the way for a couple of people. But one should be jumping in here, and the other will get him caught up. Don't worry about that. This is just a session 0, where I'm going to sort of give some information to these guys. They have a little bit of information about the world. I'm going to give a little more details. If there's any questions that they have that I can reveal, it's not going to spoil anything plot-wise. We'll go after that. We're going to do some character discussion. I think these three have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do, at least in general, like what class, what subclass. We can go over those things. Any questions like that? So we're going to be taking care and doing things like that. So as this is going to be some Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. I am your Dungeon Master, which I can actually say during this because that is a copyrighted term for Dungeons & Dragons. You can only be the DM if you're running D&D. I am TG, I am your Dungeon Master, and today we've got 3 of the 5 misfits here for this campaign. We have got Chameleon Ice, we have got Crimson Avix, and we have got OPT Lawyer. So basically, as you can see there, Shadows over Lagaria. What is Lagaria? Lagaria is the world where we are going to be playing in. Now, whether it's just the name of the continent or the name of the world, I honestly haven't decided yet. But suffice to say, Lagaria is at least the continent which we're on. Okay? They have a little bit of information about Lagaria. They've gotten that in a little bit of a thing here, but there are some things about Lagaria that everyone's sort of out of general knowledge. So the first thing here, I'm going to give you guys are going to have the World of Lagaria handout here. Ooh. Basically, this is describing Lagaria itself. It's separated into 3 distinct territories. And when I say distinct, I mean distinct because the biggest defining feature in Lagaria is this giant river, the Iriri River, I-R-I-R-I. Or is it 2 R's in there somewhere?
Arai.
Yes, Arai. No, I'm not naming that after myself at all. No, it is I-R-I-R-I. Iriri River. Okay. I forgot how I spelled it. But anyway, so basically, this river sort of trisects the continent in such a manner that it basically breaks it up into 3 distinct territories. So the first of which is the Haddleland Tiranfall, which is sort of it's the central of the 3 territories. It's also the northernmost territory. It is home to the capital city of Argenti, as well as the Cinderbrook Keep, which is basically where the royal family lives and does all their policing from. Lagaria itself is a queendom. So all the power in the royal family is on the matriarchal side. Yep. So we have that. Basically, there are certain locations that everyone knows about. Like I said, there's the capital city of Argenti. There's a place called the Argent Vale. Just a couple of the different locations in up there in Tiranfall. It is a massive, massive piece of land. It does experience all 4 seasons. Oh, there's woods, there's mountains, there's all kinds of things. Things we may get to, things we may not get to. But those are just a couple of the big highlights. Then we've got 2 other locations here in Lagaria. We have sort of like the southwestern section. If anyone knows me and my love of video games and Final Fantasies in particular, it's probably a good guess where I got my idea for at least a little bit of this next section, Niamende, the Land of Eternal Rain. It's called the Land of Eternal Rain, but it hasn't seen a lot of rain recently. Normally, it's one of those places, it's not necessarily raining all the time. It's got dark, it's gloomy. It's got that sort of that blasé feel. Sunshine usually is a rare commodity, but something happened. There are rumors as to what happened, but the general story is there was a protest, an uprising at a specific location, which we'll get to in a minute in another slide, but that caused a bunch of uprising. People were protesting, and something happened where an artifact was stolen. The normally benevolent queen, at least this is the way the rumor goes to people, got angry after something happened, and some sort of magic of something emanated from the Cinderbrook Keep. And whatever magic this was has basically caused so the land of eternal rain is now this just sort of dry, gloomy desert. It hasn't really rained a lot in a couple of years. So a lot of, if they're going to be growing crops and all that, a lot of it has had to have been druidic in nature. A lot of it's had to be like they've had to carry water from the Iriri River. They haven't got rain. And it's been 2 years, and any plea to try and get whatever magic this is that came from the keep to be dispersed has fallen on deaf ears. Some locations of note here in Niamende are the Vault of Forgotten, which is basically the prison area of Lagaria, the Dusk Jungle, and Heronvale, the City of Bells. And while you guys are talking about that, I'm going to go let my cat in because apparently he's poked a hole in my screen and is crawling onto the window.
Aw.
Okay.
Yeah. So, interesting thing so far.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out a name, so...
Oh, I still am too, though I'm getting closer. I'm wondering why they don't change the name of the place. Like, it's called Land of Eternal Rain. Like, if it hasn't rained in 2 years, it's not Eternal Rain anymore. Like,
yeah, it's the land of eternal not rain.
Like, Land of the Sometimes Rain. Or Land of the Rain will be back, we promise.
Say, I broke the screen!
Logic.
Oh, well.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
So, that is sort of Niamende. Then there is sort of like the east section, which is the Grand Duchy of Andaria. This is where a lot of the crops, more of the, even before Niamende became sort of droughted, Andaria was where a lot of the crops came from. This is where the fertile land, the fertile soil is. And a lot of the common folk have that very hard-working sort of mentality. They'll go out, they'll put in a good day's work, you know, they're out in the fields, they're sun-kissed, that sort of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The nobility, on the other hand, is very much self-serving, you know, that type of thing. Andarion is ruled by the Duke Ashton Greyfort. And the capital of the duchy is the castle city of Eaglesguard. And it's a castle city, like Cinderbrook Keep is sort of the home of like the royal family itself. Eaglesguard is a much larger city. It's the biggest city in Legaria. It is a castle town. So for those who want an idea of sort of like a castle town, if you've ever played Ocarina of Time, that is a castle town there. So that's sort of what Eaglesguard is. Eaglesguard, again, that's the capital city of the duchy. It's the biggest city in Legaria, one of the big locations, as well as the Burnwillow Peaks, which is a set of mountaintops, or a set of mountains and peaks that are most notably identified by what they refer to as burn willows, which are basically these weeping willows that, as the seasons change, turn from green to this bright, fiery red and orange, which gives the entire mountain the look of being on fire when that's the time of the season.
Yeah.
Hence the name Burn Willow. The other big thing to note here in Andarion is that the way sort of the queendom works is because there's always the need for power and the treachery and the backstabbing, all the political BS that you'd expect in your Game of Thrones. So here's your Game of Thrones political BS. The way that sort of it's decided who or what is going to marry into the royal family, it's a very archaic, very outdated tradition, but it's what they do here in Legaria. They have what is called the Royal Suitor Tournament. And basically that is anybody can enter. Normally, what happens is that the noble houses, you can either enter and fight for yourself, or you can hire a champion to fight for you. Most of the higher noble houses can afford the best of the best, so usually they win, and basically that's what happens is whoever the oldest son or second oldest son or whoever's next in line of that noble family will, if they win the tournament, they basically get to marry into the Lagarus royal family. Normally, like I said, it's a noble. But the last time the Royal Suitor tournament was held, something a little different happened. And that's what we're going to get into the next handout, which is the royal family of Legaria.
Ooh, this is new to me.
Yes, this is new.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay. So these are all going to be handouts you guys will have access to.
Uh-huh.
But again, I just want to give you guys some information. Hi, that's a cattail. So specifically, the king here, Adelaine Lagarus. He was a traveling mercenary who happened to be in town during the Royal Suitor tournament, the last time it was held, and won, and threw all of the noble houses into a bit of chaos because how could this random traveling mercenary have won? Well, he did, and it turns out that him and the queen, Agalia, actually kind of clicked and hit it off, so that was a big thing. So basically, he is also the big thing about the king in Lagaria is they are the captain of the Queen's Guard. So basically, they command whoever the royal knights are, whatever you want to call them. Speaking of that, we do have again the queen, the full queen of Lagaria, Agalia Lagarus. Yes, go ahead and say that 5 times fast. I dare you. Basically, she was known as a benevolent queen. But some things have happened. Her appearances have been less and less in the public eye, and her behavior has been becoming more erratic, or at least the rumors amongst the common folk say. The royal family has 2 children. There is the first child, Prince Alwyn Lagarus II. Alwyn II is because the queen's father was Alwyn I. As the prince, he never has a claim to the throne, but it is his duty to train up to eventually become a member of the Queen's Guard and eventually learn to take over the post of the Queen's Guard. So he has been training in that, and now that he is of the age of 16, he's been able to join. And mostly, like every prince before him, it's been sort of like you're in the Queen's Guard, but here's more of these political go make appearance missions type of deal. And then finally, we have the Princess Arabella Lagarus, who is next in line for the throne, and she is the one whose hand is sort of being offered up in the Royal Suitor tournament.
Question.
Answer.
This is the queendom, right?
Yes.
Where a queen holds the power, and it's an absolute matriarchy?
Yes.
So power transfers to the queen, regardless of who the king may be.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So why is the queen offering her hand up in marriage and basically like doing arranged marriages for her favor as opposed to the other way around where she's courting?
Old traditions, and the nobility holds enough sway with, basically, specifically with Andaria, because that's where 80% of the crops come from. Mm. If the queen would just be like, yeah, no, you don't get a chance, 80% of the food source from Lagaria, like the crop foods from Lagaria, would basically be cut off. So it's a political thing more than anything else.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
so
it's a political game that has to be played.
So what happens if the queen never bears a female child?
Well,
it's a good question.
It depends. It is a good question.
Because I have an awesome idea percolating in my head, but go on.
The answer is, as a DM, I don't know, because that thought never crossed my mind, so I can't give you an answer. I'll get back to you.
I'm picturing like an awesome Knights tournament.
How it's right now is how it would be. If you look here, there's a 5th name on this list,
yes,
which is Lady Odelia, who is Agalia's younger sister. So if something would have happened to Agalia and she had not produced a female heir, Lady Odelia would have taken the throne.
Gotcha.
If they're not available, then they would have had to do some sort of weird marrying the prince out to something thing.
I was hoping they'd have like a tournament like they had like down there for the male suitors. Like have to since you got to rule kingdom be a queen in charge, you got to fight for it. And, you have all these battle maidens.
I mean, no one's to say there can't be battle maidens in the Royal Suitor tournament.
Right.
So basically, that's the generalist of the royal family. There are little blurbs in there that sort of give a little bit of their personalities, if you want those.
Handy.
Finally, I mentioned that there was an uprising. I mentioned the queen has been acting erratic. Well, here's the reason for why that. Lagaria itself is home to 3 immensely powerful artifacts that are a part of a triad. Basically, each one of these artifacts was sent off to one of the 3 sections of Lagaria, sort of as a, hey, here, have this part of the magical object to show we're all a united country, but also we're our own separate thing. So each of these artifacts, like I said, they make a triad. The most important one, and that is sort of the one that the symbol of Lagaria is based off of, is the Crown of Flames. It's an extremely powerful crown, but it is a cursed item. And its curses can only be contained or quelled if the wearer of the crown is also wearing both the other 2 items, the Ashen Brooch and the Smoke Shard. The crown, and this is more player information. This specific information, the artifacts, isn't necessarily something your characters would know unless their background gives them that. Everyone would know the artifacts exist. They wouldn't necessarily know what they do. Because the Ashfall Temple, where the Ashen Brooch used to lay, and the Duhun Shrine on the top of the Burn Willow Peaks where the Smoke Shard lays. Duhun is a Korean word that means fire.
No, I know. I have a friend who says that very funnily. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, fair. So, like, the shrine on top of the Burn Willow Peaks, not a lot of people go up there because it's a treacherous climb to get up there. But the Ashfall Temple was one where people would go a lot of time and they would see the Ashen Brooch on display. The Ashen Brooch has been missing for years, having disappeared during a protest. That sort of protest, that uprising, that's what caused sort of the magic to come from Cinderbrook. That's what caused Niamende to sort of no longer be a rainy land. So there's a whole lot of, again, political leanings going around. There are rumors amongst certain people that the Lord of Heronvale was responsible for the theft of the Ashen Brooch, but no one can prove it. So basically, this is the 3 artifacts of Lagaria. More player information for you guys. If your character would know it based on their background, then fantastic. If not, this is just stuff I want you guys to know. So these are the 3 handouts I have.
I don't know if my character would know it or not.
Based on where you're coming from, you would know that they exist. You would not know what they do,
That's fine.
unless you're specifically researching them for the purposes of whatever.
Right.
Like right now, I have a general idea of what all you guys are kind of doing, kind of coming from, but that's what the rest of the session 0 is about, is to sort of discuss that. Who is doing what? Where are you coming from? What are your ideas? What do we need to do? Speaking of that, hello again, Kat. Characters. Incoming, everybody. We've got a 5.
Oh dear.
Yes.
At least we gave you a heads up instead of just popping
Give
in.
you a heads up. So, as we are waiting for our Nora to show up here, character creation. There are a couple of different ways that you can create characters in 5e.
This is going to be important. I'm going to write this down.
Okay, so I was waiting for Nora to show up for that, but basically how we're going to do characters is you can do what's called a standard array. You could do what's called a point buy, or you can do the dice roll. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll for stats. Because who doesn't love rolling dice?
D&D 5e. I mean...
So we're going to be rolling dice for stats. So basically what that means is there are 6 stats here in the game.
Yeah, I always hate rolling. All right.
I enjoy it, but I always see the faults of it.
Yeah.
Right, no, there's a little more to it than just rolling. So for those who've never seen it before, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So there are multiple ways in which you can roll for stats. The way I like to do it is 4d6, drop the lowest, Reroll any ones the first time around.
Didn't think I'd need my dice this session, but just in case.
So you have them. You can roll them in Roll20. You can roll them there. So basically, the reason I like to do the reroll the ones is because you want to be able to do your cool things. And if the only thing you roll is 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 9, 4, you're not going to be able to do any cool things. That's not fun. So by re-rolling the ones and rolling 46, it gives you more chances to roll the higher numbers, so you have a more interesting stat spread.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Answer.
When you say rolling for stats, is it in order?
No.
No, you roll six. No, you roll 6 sets of stats. So say, for example, you roll 6 and you get 12, 14, 13, 18, 9, and 16. Mm-hmm. That doesn't have to go in order of strength, dexterity. So that 18 you rolled could go to strength if you're playing a fight.
Just making sure.
Or, So you're not rolling.
Those kind of nerds.
Yeah. I am not that horrible of a person. I promise you that.
Because that's always the worst. Like, I'm playing a wizard. Cool, roll your stats in order. But I got a 6 intelligence. Too bad.
Yep.
Nora, do you need the link?
I just have to get it. I have to find it.
Okay.
So 46 drop lows, re-rolls any ones.
Yep. Reroll any ones the first time through. So if you roll a 1 on your reroll, you're stuck with it there.
Okay.
Oy. Alright. Well, I don't have dice like y'all, so...
You just use D20 or roll 20.
So what are we rolling? Sorry.
Basically, I was just doing character building for stats, and it's going to be roll 4d6. There's a link for you. Drop 1, drop the lowest, and reroll any 1s.
Okay, and we're doing this live? Goodness.
You can do it live. You don't necessarily have to. I'm just telling you that's how we're doing it here.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying.
Reroll that 1, Nora.
Wow. I know.
Nora 18 already.
Yeah, see, 19, actually. But it's an 18. But yeah.
I guess there's no... Wow!
So, I mean, you're dropping the lowest anyway, so you're stuck with an 18 there.
Yeah, well, he just rolled another 6 for funsies.
I see that.
I'm gonna get
I wish I
nowhere.
could show this and I can't. I rolled 3 1s
My God.
Oh, that's
on my first thing. So, Nora.
Wow.
Let's see. How many stats are there again? There are 5
are
or
6.
6. Ooh.
Wow.
Nora, stop stealing all the 6s!
Oh, that's great.
Well, yes and no, because even if we did standard array or point buy, there would be 1 stat that would be in the single digits from either standard array or point buy.
I got 2 2s, a 1, and a 4.
Well, you're going to have some...
Reroll that 1.
I did! I got a 1!
Roll a 1D.
Oh, good point.
Oh, yeah.
There we go, thank God. Jesus
Good
Christ.
point out. Good point
Thank you,
out.
That's actually
Jesus.
12, so that's better.
I'm actually I'm actually really shocked that even did anything.
I love Crim's Dice Cam. Oh my goodness, I love that.
Right?
Just that's amazing.
I can't really get it to show like that well on here. Hold on, maybe I can finagle this for a second.
Yeah.
Crim could do it better. Like Crim's got his on or something. But yeah, it looks really
It's not a
cool.
huge deal right now, but basically, D&D is all about rolling dice because, let's be honest, there is nothing better than hearing this noise.
It really isn't.
So, wait, what do the 3 stats go into? Because there's like 5, 6.
There are 6 stats.
6 stats.
Yeah.
So there's strength.
Yeah,
dexterity.
I'm looking at the sheet. I guess what I meant is like what like where do these stats go again?
Oh, on the sheet.
Where?
Let me look at your sheet.
On the left-hand column, there's going to be the things. You don't put it where the 0 is, but the score underneath.
But there's
Yeah.
6 of these, and we only rolled 3.
Well, no, you're rolling 6
No,
times.
you roll a total of 6
46.
times.
6 times.
Wait, what?
You're rolling 4d6
Yeah.
6 times.
What?
And
Yeah, each one's one of your stats.
so that first thing that you rolled, 4, 2, 2, and 6, you get 4, 6, and 2.
Oh,
That's
Jesus
12.
Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes sense, like, once you stop and think about it again.
Wow.
But...
Yeah, I totally missed all of that then.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, that makes totally more sense now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a bad character, at least.
So that's
a 12 as your first stat.
Yeah, okay.
So those were my first 3 rolls. So I roll 3 more times, I get 6 scores, and then I can put 1 of each of those scores into each of my stats.
Exactly. Like that one is a 14.
Right.
Also, Nora, what is on your head? Oh my gosh, the light reflecting off your head was color blanched.
Buzz. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I'm trying to fix my green screen. It's awful.
There's a wonder reroll in there.
So that's 15.
My
Yep.
goodness. Just trying to think too hard about you. I mean, you don't want to cry. Not on camera. Do I use the character mancer or do I edit the sheet directly?
However you want to do it.
What's the character mancer?
I have no idea.
That's why I asked. Okay.
I'll be honest. I've never built a character in 5e on Roll20.
You're the DM. You're supposed to know how to do everything.
My job is to make NPCs.
I might as well do these in order. I mean,
He's TG. You can't count on him knowing anything.
No.
Oh, this is kind of smart. I might actually need to look at the book for this.
For what?
Which stats to put in for the wizard that are best, because
Yeah, that is definitely one thing I'll need to.
Well, I can help you with that. You're playing a wizard. The first and most important stat for a wizard is intelligence.
Yes, I'm aware of that one. I know that one. That one's easy.
Followed by, after intelligence, dexterity and or constitution.
Right, because you want to live and you want to live.
Correct.
Right.
Wizards,
I know the least important stat. That's easy.
Wizards don't necessarily need strength. Wisdom is one of those 50-50s for a wizard because they get proficiency in wisdom saves, which means they get to add a bonus to it.
Actually,
So it's not as high a priority, but it should still be there. Charisma, a lot of wizards will consider charisma a dump stat.
they do. I'm not one of those wizards, but I don't know.
Yeah. But that basically would be the order. It'd be intelligence, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, strength, charisma.
Gotcha.
What about the class I want to do? Rogue or
Well,
whatever.
There you
Well,
go.
13.
13,
Okay,
13.
lots of 13s!
I'm totally average.
I actually got a ton of 13s.
13's average.
Yeah,
I got
you're
a
just-
ton of
well,
13s.
10 is actually average, so.
Yes. But I'm saying, like, I actually
Yeah.
have a solid average.
Yeah. So, for a rogue, that is an interesting answer. Because it depends on the type of rogue you're planning on being.
I'm not that kind of thief.
That joke's for me.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't ask. Don't ask. Continue, please.
I'm not going to ask.
Don't ask. Yeah, just don't.
First and foremost, though, dexterity
Yeah,
is
that's
probably going to be your most important skill.
yeah. I get +2 to that actually from my race.
Right, and then racial bonuses afterwards. So
Yeah.
fill in the normal scores afterwards, and then once your base scores are in there,
Right.
subtract your racial bonuses, whatever they may be.
Right.
So for a rogue, dexterity is going to be the score you want the most. Probably more than likely followed by charisma if you're planning on being a party face.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I want to be like in the shadows kind of thing.
Stealth is dexterity based.
Well, I mean, okay, dexterity is still my highest, so.
Yeah. So charisma is also your deception.
Yeah, that's true, actually. So, yeah, that would make sense.
So then after that, you are not necessarily going to be up in the melee combat, but I don't hate putting Constitution up there. Intelligence and Wisdom, again, one of those things where it depends on the type of rogue you're planning on being. Some rogues rely on intelligence scores, some rely on other things. So
Like, what?
dexterity, Charisma, Constitution are really the three you want to focus on there.
Gotcha. So what's the advantage of, like, putting any points into intelligence and/or... Because right now I've got 2 11s, and I'm thinking about dumping those into intelligence and wisdom.
That's probably what I would do, honestly. Basically, that just means you don't get bonuses to like intelligence-based checks, which are things like history or arcana. But there's a party wizard, so you don't necessarily need to be the one proficient in all
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I only get to choose 2 skills to be proficient in, so.
Well, you get more than 2 skills.
According to the book, I get 2.
Your class gives you 2.
Right.
And then your background gives you a couple more.
Right, I forgot about that. Because 5e has the awesome background system.
Yes. Now, when it comes to the background system, that's not necessarily something we have to get into tonight. Because the background and backstory, connected but not entirely connected things.
Right.
Right?
Like the actual stat block, that takes some time sometimes.
Correct. So basically, with the background, there are a bunch that are provided in the books. But if nothing fits specifically what you're looking for, we can always workshop something to make it fit.
Yeah. They're pretty editable.
Yeah. Right. They're pretty interchangeable.
I don't know what any of this is, so...
Okay, Teach. You're going to need to talk me into making a bad decision for character purposes as opposed to, like, survival purposes.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, like, this character is probably going to be very bookish. Spend a lot of time studying in the towers, practicing her spells and such. She's not exactly doing backflips everywhere. And she's not completely, like, a shut-in. So she's not stupid, but I either get to choose to raise my dexterity or raise my wisdom. So,
dexterity.
But accuracy down, wisdom up.
That's the thing, like, that makes sense from a gameplay standpoint, so I'm trying to think, like,
Okay.
Because AC goes up with dexterity, yeah.
Well, not only that, let me ask you this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bookish, again, intelligence and wisdom, while similar, are not the same.
They are not, that's correct.
Okay. So,
Bookish is worldly. Yeah.
Right, just because you are smart doesn't mean you are worldly.
That's why I said she's not a complete shut-in.
Right.
Right.
So, the answer to that question is entirely on how you plan on playing it.
Right. I suppose it wouldn't be a problem.
Right. So, the answer
I mean,
to
my
that
stats are all the same anyway. Why am I even fretting? It's like I choose one number that's like 14, 14, 15, 15, 13, 13, 13.
All right. So where am I putting my stats?
Okay. So the sheet I gave you is Uveme Aviopa.
Sounds like a magic spell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, as you can see on the character sheet, on the left-hand side, there are these 6 tiles. Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. So far, you've rolled 1 stat. You need to roll 5 more.
Yeah, that was the thing I was screwing up.
I'm already super jealous of you for the 1 stat, because I wish I had it.
Yes.
Wait, I roll 4d6 for every stat.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the thing I was screwing up too.
But you're not rolling it for each stat. You're rolling 4d6 6 times, and then you're placing your 6 results in stats as you wish.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know this involves math, so it might be hard for you, Nora.
This is why we use the computer system. Oh my gosh.
Why are you kidding me? Reroll that 1. Are you actually kidding me right now? Am I watching this happen?
Mm-hmm. Wow!
So,
Are you kidding me?
not to be sour grapes, but this is internally why I hate rolling for stats.
Yeah.
Because I am never this guy.
Yeah.
There's always 1.
And it's never me.
Yeah.
Who said Nora's allowed to min-max?
No kidding, right? There's no min here. This is all max. I mean, that's okay. He'll still be the first one dead.
Probably.
Yes, actually, most likely. I need some write this down. My computer has-
Honestly, my stats make sense. I'm playing somebody somewhat inexperienced, but I can still be sour grapes about it.
I mean, Nora rolls another 18. I'm going to convince him to play a damn monk.
But yeah, monks use basically all their stats in some way.
It is one of the things I don't like about dice rolling. It's the same thing. It's just like you get one person that's like way out of whack than everyone else.
Like, I like it because I like how it creates varied characters.
Exactly. Then there's that. On the flip side, you have characters who are vastly different than everyone else.
18 max, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, on this roll, I got a 14.
Correct.
Poor you.
His dump stat's gonna be 14.
Yeah. No, we might be good.
Don't re-roll the 1! Don't you do it!
I mean,
Reroll it.
yes.
No! It's still okay.
That's only an 11.
No, it's a 13.
That's a 13.
It's a
5, 4, 4.
Oh, yeah.
So I rolled 6 stats, right? So I've got 4.
Yeah, you've got 4. You need to roll 2 more.
I got 2 11s, for God's sakes.
Well, maybe Nora gets... Seriously!
2 1, so more 6s, gotcha.
Seriously?
Another
Wow. So, Nora's gonna be the massive beat stick, I guess.
6! So Noah's gonna carry us on his shoulders this entire time.
Wow! I called it! 14's is dump stat!
No, 13's... Are you kidding me? Nora, have you considered playing a monk?
This is why everyone should roll with real dice and not artificial ones.
It is why I rolled the real dice, because I'm like, these are... I don't trust this random generator system. But...
Mine came out much more normal-ish.
That's insane!
some people are just born beautiful.
And other people are Nora.
I deserve that.
Yes, you did.
I'm not
Nora,
going to argue
got
the
you.
comment.
I'm going to say this right now. You're not getting any magical items.
So when I buff the party, I'm not buffing Nora.
No, teach. With this, we start at level 2.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, right, just... screws everybody up but Nora. Alright, no, screws him but nobody else.
No,
Wow.
it screws me and Nora up.
Aw.
Well,
Either that or Nora just takes an experience hit.
Like,
Well,
I was expecting like 2 or 3 18s. I wasn't expecting Nora to get all of them.
How many did you actually get? Morgan?
I got 4. Can I roll the other 2 and just make them 18s too?
No, you cannot.
So you got 4 18s.
No,
what
but
are
you
the
can
other two?
re-roll all your 18s.
Yeah.
I got 4 18s, a 14, and a 13.
Your lowest stat is the mean of all my stats. And your second lowest stat is one lower than my highest. So...
same on that. Mine, the highest is a
Likewise.
15.
Actually, I think we probably got similar stats, Grim, from the sound of it.
Yeah, like, the other 3 of you were fine. Nora just decided he wanted to play Baby Pun Pun and is going to make everybody cry. Bonus points if you actually... What's up?
If you look at my camera, Chammy, you can actually see my stats.
Oh, I can do that. Let me see. Oh, there it is. I can click.
Yeah.
1, 2,
Bonus
3.
points if you actually know what I mean when I reference Baby Pun Pun. Anyway, Nora, just go ahead and just assign your stats. Intelligence is your primary stat. I don't really care at this point.
Yeah.
So I have that total number of points, or I have...
No. You have an
I
18,
put
you have
18.
4 18s, a 14, and a 13. Which is absolutely insane.
It's
If I
fantastic.
didn't watch it happen, I would have accused you of cheating.
So the worst thing is going to be balancing encounters now.
Actually, not as much as you think. Like, looking at our stats, Grim is pretty low. And the sound of it, you're kind of low,
Encounters,
too.
yes, but at the same time, no, because I know the class Nora's playing. Nora's squishy.
Puts that 18 in Constitution.
He
I mean-
didn't, which is the best part.
I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense, though.
So, Nora
I
has
put the
decided-
18 in charisma with
Honestly, what you
intelligence
said-
and dexterity.
What you should have told Nora is intelligence is his least important stat, so you would have put the 13 in there.
I knew what class I was playing, so I knew.
Artificer was like an 18 strength. Carry all the potions!
I mean, there are artificers that... One of the artificer things allows you to basically play Iron Man, so...
Ooh.
Like the artificer, what he does is he doesn't make potions all that well, but he throws the potion bottle so hard it blasts your face in.
Yes. Yes.
The impact of
Right,
blow.
yeah. Impact. Yeah.
Mommy, why is the apothecary flexing? And
Yeah, the only thing he tries to create is just a more dense liquid, so it hurts more.
I actually know what Nora's character's gonna look like now. He's gonna be that Arnold Schwarzenegger fairy from the early God.
Oh God, yes.
Magic!
yes.
Siege. For the record, going back to a conversation we had either yesterday or the day before, this is why I do roll 5, drop 2.
Fair.
What's that?
Roll 5, drop 2.
When I GM D&D, instead of roll 4, drop 1, I do roll 5, drop 2, and their 2 are your lowest and your highest.
Low and high. Makes sense.
That still wouldn't have affected me.
If you would have had an additional dice and you wouldn't have re-rolled 1s.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Not true. I really only re-rolled like 2 1s though.
I'm
We had
not
a few.
that scared about it because
But there are ways for me as a GM to balance this out for you guys. That's what I have to figure.
and the party makeup's gonna take care of itself, I think,
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yes. So right now, I like what we have so far. We've got Wizard, we've got Alchemist or Artificer, we've got Rogue, and well, Krim, are you going to tell people what you're playing?
I guess I can. I'm going to
Nah.
be playing an Echo Knight.
Echo.
What is that?
So an Echo Knight is based off of the fighter class, and
Okay.
he has the ability to create inanimate clones of himself and move through them.
Echo Knight.
That's a cool concept.
Huh.
It's
So
fantastic.
basically, like I can use them. I can send my consciousness to them, use them to attack, or send them to defend something, or something like that.
That's nuts.
It is. It is. It's awesome. And interestingly enough, it actually comes from a Wizards a supplement called The Explorer's Guide to Wildcloud, which is the campaign book that was written based on Critical Role. The Echo Knight was a subclass initially created by the Critical Role crew.
That makes sense. It sounds too fun for wizards to make it themselves.
So we know we have an Echo Knight fighter. Hey, Chammy,
Yes.
you've already said you're playing a wizard, but what type of wizard are you playing?
I mean, I already am very convinced I can play the Order of the Scroll. Scribes Wizard, I believe it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to get to
Almost say the Order of the Squirrel.
I said Order of the Scrolls, but
I mean, if that's the case, then Chammy's going to play a Circle of the Squirrel. I mean, Wood. I mean, Druid.
I summoned squirrels.
Summon woodland creatures is a Druid spell,
I,
or conjure woodland creatures. Sorry. So the big thing with the Order of the Scribe Wizard is they have what I'm going to have some fun with, an awakened spell book that allows them to do some fun things.
Mhm.
Basically, I have a familiar and I get to play with. So, Nora, Mr. Min-Max.
Mostly
There's no
Max.
Min here.
Yeah, so Min here.
Yeah. Well, no, I say Min because I know the race he's playing, and that's the Min part of it.
It's
yeah.
true. I didn't have a name for y'all.
Yeah. So, we've already said you're playing the Artificer, but what subclass of Artificer are you playing?
I'm playing an alchemist. So I am playing a artificer alchemist.
So we've got our potions, and I know you mentioned rogue. Do you know this type of rogue you're playing, OPT?
I don't know types of rogues. I'm even looking at D&D Beyond. I still don't know what types of rogues there are.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and I can pull up.
Because you mentioned what you wanted to play. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, but I don't know like what is actually here or not. Yeah, I'm looking at the rogue class details on D&D Beyond, and I still don't know what
Uh,
subtypes.
I just found it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not D&D.
So, the rogue, there are different archetypes for the rogue, and I have a little thing here that so the archetypes for the rogue are as follows. There is the arcane trickster, which is a rogue that combines some sort of magic with the thief. They use illusions and enchantments to confuse and outsmart your foes.
No.
There is the assassin, which is exactly what it says on the tin.
On the tin, yeah, okay.
Yep. The inquisitive, which is basically what if rogue meets Sherlock Holmes.
Okay.
There's the phantom, which is you can speak to the spirits of the dead and use their knowledge to empower your attacks and your skills.
You can be a phantom thief?
Ooh.
There is the mastermind. They are masters of planning and tactics. The mastermind can use the help action to great effect in combat, which I can explain when we get to combat, and gain insights about other creatures outside of combat by studying them at length. There is the scout, which again is pretty much what it says in the tin. There's the soul knife, which is basically you don't know much about X-Men, but basically, what if Rogue met Psylocke?
Ooh.
Basically, use psionic power to create deadly psychic blades. You are Psylocke the Rogue. The swashbuckler. Yes, go ahead, buckle some swashes all you want. You are the quintessential pirate rogue. And then there is the thief, which is basically the rogue we all know and love and sometimes hate.
Right. Based on my stats,
you don't have to figure it out right now if you don't want. If you want to look into what they all are, you absolutely can.
Yeah. Tim, you sent me one. Do you have like a list of them someplace?
Yeah, I can get those for you easily enough.
Thanks. So I can't find the list. I'm sure it's on here. I just can't find it.
So yeah, there's a different site that I use that's actually pretty nice.
I can see why. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, those are the general things when it comes to the rogue. So
Okay,
again,
the bottom of
those
this
all.
page will tell you exactly where your choices are. You can look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do we need to pick this? You mentioned the background thing earlier, right? We need to do that.
Right. Background, you don't need to pick
Not
your
tonight.
background necessarily right now. Basically, what your background does is it gives you a little bit of a starting point for the RP side of things. It gives you a couple of skills you're proficient in. So basically, at minimum, everyone's going to have 4 skills that they have proficiency in, which are going to be sort of the ones that they're going to be good at rolling, things of that nature. It also sort of gives you your background gives you some, at least in 5e, there are sets of things that it gives you. It gives you a table that you can roll off or pick from, or you can add yourself about characteristics, ideals, traits, flaws, just to sort of get your idea kickstarted for how you want to play the character.
It's great for role playing stuff.
Fair.
Fantastic for it.
Yep. So that's really sort of the big thing for backgrounds. And like I said, if you go through and you don't find a background in the provided backgrounds that you like, or you like part of something but not all of it, we can absolutely sit down between now and when we do session 1 and workshop a background and make sure it's something that fits what you want to do. So, like I said, just sort of the general. If you have a general concept of what you think you want, how you want your character to do all that, that's perfectly fine. We can do that.
I'll talk to you about it later, just because I don't.
Yeah.
There's so many of these. I don't know.
I'll just 100%.
I'll just tell you what I'm thinking, and we can go from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the next thing I said, so background, that's not something we need to worry about. The next thing with character creation is starting equipment.
No, we're doing that now. Oh no.
Well, no, I'm not doing it now. There are 2 options for it. There is the generic, your class plus your background gives you this starting equipment, blah, 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 blah. Throw that out the window. That's no fun. That's generic as all hell.
Okay.
I forget exactly where it is in the player's handbook, but somewhere in the player's handbook there is a table for starting money when you're not starting a character, building a character not at level 1. In this case, level 2. So you're going to get the starting money, and you can buy the equipment you want.
I can find that. So I have the book open.
So that to me, because again, the generic is, you get either a crossbow or a dagger, or you get leather or it's there. It's great for a quick start, but it's kind of blah. So this way, hey, I want to play a fighter who uses a Guisarme. Well, Guisarme is not going to be in your starting equipment, but if you get starting money, you can absolutely go ahead and purchase a Guisarme.
I was wrong.
There you go.
Oh, here it is. Starting equipment. Found it.
Do we roll for this?
It actually...
Yeah.
Oh, starting wealth. I'm looking at something different, but...
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's
You
starting
can start
at...
with a number of gold pieces based on your class and spend them on items from a list in this chapter. So
Right.
starting wealth by class. You can do it
Right.
instead.
So I have the list of starting wealth by class here. Basically, every class gets a number of d4s to roll. It's multiplied by 10.
Mhm.
Since we're starting at level 2, go ahead and double the amount of d4s, is how I'm going to say. So
eight?
for example, Chammy, you're a wizard. It says 4d4 times 10. Go ahead and roll 8d4 times 10.
Oh, I'm going to get that pearl I had my eye on. This time I'm not going to be doing the stupid thing. I'm going to use the
What does
game
mine say?
itself.
You and Krim are going to get 10d4 times 10.
So 190 gold for me, I think that's what that means, yes.
It does. Chammy!
Look at all those ones and twos.
Oh gosh, are we doing the thing where gold money like actually takes weight of your whatever?
Absolutely not. I hate the money as encumbrance rule. Basically, how I want to rule with encumbrance is very simple. As long as you're not toting around, 5,000 pounds worth of crap, I don't care about encumbrance.
That's probably Nora.
Did you
Yeah,
roll?
You pop his
that
name
was
up?
mine. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it's only like 50 more than...
Yeah, that's actually, it's a little more than average, but not super crazy.
I'm just a poor girl, yes sirree.
Okay, like
He's just a
109.
poor girl from a poor family.
There's so much more.
I'm not finishing singing that line.
Oh, wait, I was going Queen. You went Aladdin.
I know!
I mean, the cat and the one on this shoulder, my computer screen's kind of taken.
Oh.
I'm petting a cat right now like a James Bond villain.
You are a James Bond villain.
I am. Which kitty is that one?
Would be Jade.
I mean, that's what we all come here for, is the cat cams.
Right.
So we are starting at level 2 then, that's confirmed?
That is
That's Apollo's inspiration right here.
Aww! He looks so good, he's just like not moving at all.
Because I have her paw held down, so she can't.
Where's money at on this sheet?
If you look in the middle column, right below
above where it
attack and...
says item name. There's CP, SP, PP, GP, PP.
Oh!
Or EP. I
Thank
think
you.
that's EP.
Yeah, it's Electrum.
Why the heck am I doing a vision test on this thing?
Not a clue.
So how do we make it not take weight in the... Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I
Don't
think
worry
he's just
about it.
ignoring
It's
it.
taken into
Ignore the
account.
weight.
I'm just ignoring it.
Okay.
Alright, so where's equipment? Where's the list of equipment you can buy?
On the way. Maybe...
I mean, I don't care how unorganized the site is, it can't possibly be worse than Starjammer.
Will you dare try to tempt the game?
Oh no, dude! We're in a Starfinder game. The website that we use is so completely horrifically organized. It's hard to find anything you want to find.
This
on
one's pretty awful. I can't find a home page.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. We're giving it a run for its money, apparently.
I can't link you anything right now because, as you can see, I don't have a keyboard.
Okay, I found...
That sounds like more like a you problem.
Do you want to disturb this?
Yes.
Yeah. I hear you whine about it every night. I would disturb it like 10 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm gonna get this for you now, OPT, and I'll better soon.
Cats only think they can rule the house when you let them rule the house.
Well,
I mean, they rule the house, though.
yes. So, as we're talking equipment, next thing I want to talk about is hit points.
I think it's... So we are confirmed we're starting at level 2?
100% we're starting at level 2. So,
Okay.
How hit points work is, at your first level, you get whatever the max number of your hit dice is, plus your constitution modifier. So, for example, as a wizard, Cham, I know your hit die is a d6.
Mm-hmm.
So we get 6 plus whatever your constitution modifier is.
Which is not too bad.
So, every level after that comes our favorite thing again. The die.
Indeed, rolling for HP.
So you roll for your hit die, you roll the die that you have for hit die for your HP, and you add your constitution modifier to it.
So we add Constitution for it.
Yeah. Every time you level up, it's die plus constitution modifier.
Yep.
Cool. For some reason, I thought that they didn't do a plus con in this.
No, always plus con.
Yeah. Now, question. Because I think Starfighter was like this, and I'm just kind of curious. If your constitution goes up, does your hit points increase accordingly?
Like
Yep, so say
retroactively?
yep, absolutely it would. So
That's what I
say
thought.
for example, so say when you get to level 4, as an example, because level 4 for most classes is when you get the ability score improvement.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring your constitution up to another even number, say your constitution goes from a modifier of 2 to a modifier of 3, in your level 4, you would gain an additional 4 hit points, 1 per level
Yeah.
for the constitution bump.
That's what I thought. Cool. So, just looking at the sheet here, let's see. Hit points at first level 8 plus Constitution, and then 1d8.
Plus your constitution.
It says 1d8 or 5. What? Oh, I'm guessing that's
5 is the average. If
You can choose the average, and usually in D&D 5, they tend to try to give that option to players.
Yeah, if you ever look at a monster manual, for example, in the monster encounter section, they'll actually say deals, X, D, X, and then in parentheses they'll give you the average of what those rolls are.
Gotcha.
So if you're not in the mood to roll dice, which why would you never not be in the mood to roll dice?
I can think of a lot of reasons.
Because I keep rolling ones.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not nearly as obsessed with rolling dice as you guys are, just FYI.
Forget this roll 20 thing where I keep getting low rolls again. Let's try a real D6 again and get a 1.
Alright, so my first level of hit points is 9, and then I roll a d8 plus 1.
Where's the H? What am I doing for HP? I can't find it.
Oh, what's your class, Nora?
Artificer.
That is not in my book, so let me just pull it.
Artificer is from Tasha's.
Ooh. So I have 16 hit points.
Not bad at all for a rogue.
Yeah,
I have
no.
11.
So, hey, with my racial bonus to my dexterity, do I just add that to the number, or is there some... Okay, so my dexterity goes from 15 to 17?
Yeah, so also, speaking of that, specifically, I'll go into races here in a minute. I know that you specifically, OPT, are playing one of the custom races that we have for Legaria.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something that needs to be discussed there.
Oh.
So as
There is?
basically, so you understand how it works.
But, yeah. I got the sheet and whatnot. Apparently I found a wiki that has it on it, too.
Yeah, that's basically where I got it from.
Okay.
Like, I can take the time to do this, or I can use what everyone,
You sent us some PDF, but I found this actual wiki page for the same thing.
Same sort of concept. So basically, we'll get into that here because that's sort of a little fun thing. So for anyone who has played the Fire Emblem games, the Lagus are in Lagaria, and our friend OPT is playing one. I don't know exactly which one, although I can. Based on the picture, I'm assuming it's one of the felines.
It's cat.
Okay. So, the Lagus, if you ever played the game, have the ability to turn into an animal. And the rules, it says, treat this like a druid's wild shape. How a druid's wild shape works is when you wild shape, you get the HP of the animal you wild shape into. And when that HP is gone, you revert back into your form with all of the HP you had in your regular form. So effectively, your transformation is another pool of hit points. And we'll figure out a way to increase things with hit points as you level up.
Right.
Because there's no reason, oh, hi, I'm level 8. I'm going to turn into a panther with 13 hit points.
That's one of the things I was looking at that and like, that always was kind of the rough part of being a druid as well, shape. Like, you had to kind of account for that.
So, OPT is again playing a cat Lagoose. Nora, you're playing a gnome. There are different types of gnomes, so the answer is it depends on the gnome you're playing.
I need more details then. Or a book.
Coming right up. Look up garden gnome. Name David. Alright, Nora, here you go, enjoy.
So, Chammy, you're playing a human, correct?
Yes, I have made that choice and contracted humanitis.
My question is very simple. Are you playing regular humanitis or variant humanitis?
Well, I did choose a sub-race in my sheet. But I think I'll just keep that for myself for now.
Well, no, the reason I asked I don't care about the sub-race thing. A human or variant human, because they get different starting benefits.
Oh, you're talking about the thing where I can choose to either get the extra feat or the extra ability score thingy?
Mm-hmm. If a regular human gets +1 to all stats, variant human allows you to start with a feat.
Right.
That's the specific thing I'm asking.
Feats are really minimized in 5e, aren't they?
Yeah, there are some that are fantastic and others that are...
Is it fair to say I almost want to look at the feats first before I make that choice?
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
Grim,
Teach.
what race are you playing?
Half elf.
So you didn't go Ranger, but you still kept the Elven stuff. I love it.
I only went half.
He only has 1 ear.
My question is, are you going to do one of the half-elf variants that gives you a magic spell you can cast?
I'm looking. Probably not.
Okay. And I don't know if he wears a pointy gnome hat, chat. You'll have to ask him if he wears a pointy gnome hat.
So I'm going to have to reroll my HP, I think, because I'm going a rock gnome.
You don't have to reroll it, because if you get a Constitution bonus, rock gnome gets +1 to Constitution. It's not going to affect anything. It's every even number you get a bonus. So 14 to 15 doesn't get you anything. 15 to 16 does.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And you wouldn't have to re-roll, you just add 2. 1 for each level.
Okay. I figured it made more sense, even though I really wanted to mess with you more and use the mark of scribing. But, yeah.
No, I legit have no idea what that even is.
This is...
It's charisma, gifted scribe, whenever you make an intelligence or history or an ability check involving... Yeah.
Oh. Okay, it's just a gnome sub-race. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Apparently I know the message cantrip.
So a couple of you, Nora and Chammy, you have spells you have to worry about.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you guys have that. You can take your time to figure that out. Chammy,
But yeah.
as a wizard, you do have the, oh, hey, I come across this thing, I can transcribe it into my book. That's,
Yes.
So I will do my best to leave scrolls and other toys lying around.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's nothing worse than playing a wizard and never finding more spells than you can.
That's what I was afraid of. Like, I know, you got me covered.
Yeah. It might not be right away, but there will be some.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Question, is the Thieves' Tools something that I just always have, or is that something that is consumable?
It's only consumable in the fact of if you roll multiple natural ones and I decide that I want them to break.
Okay.
So for the most part, it's just like, for example, like, oh, you have Thieves' Tools. I happen to still have my Leatherman from work on my hip.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, technically, this could be Thieves' Tools. It's always on me.
Fair.
So, as a rogue, I definitely suggest these tools.
Well, no, it literally says I start with it, and I figured why bother not.
Yeah, but that's definitely one thing. Like there are certain things based on your class that you should have. Like Nora, as an alchemist, you should definitely have the tools to make potions.
Yeah, probably. Now, is there a spot to put like the Artificer's Lore in the Tinker section for the Rock Gnome? Where does that actually go?
That would be under, if you're on the first page, see features and traits down there in the lower right corner?
Yes.
Okay. Also, your video is extremely delayed.
I'll have to figure that out. I broke something.
But yeah, all of the features and stuff and transcribing them into the character sheet, that can be done in the week or 2 weeks, probably 2 weeks leading up to when we do this for real. Because once I know characters and the general backstories, I can craft the story. What I will say, and so this is something you guys can think about, is I mentioned earlier the Royal Suitor tournament in Eaglesguard. Eaglesguard is where we're going to be starting.
So we all have to be in Eaglesguard?
So if you can figure out the Royal Suitor tournament is basically this gigantic festival. They sort of have it in like the harvest season. So the Royal Suitor tournament they have in the harvest season because it's sort of doing a double thing here. They're not only celebrating the fact that they're running the tournament to see who's going to potentially marry the princess. They're also celebrating the harvest and the river and all that. So it's a massive, massive festival. Just the main attraction is the tournament. So people from all over would come to participate in the tournament, maybe do some side tournaments, maybe peddle their wares, maybe are there it's just going to be a party and they want to party. Who knows? Like that is where, like I said, that's where everyone's going to be starting. So yes, that's a word.
I didn't know that's what the sheet.
Hey, what's the difference between a simple melee weapon and a martial melee weapon?
It will tell you in the weapon description whether it's a simple weapon or a martial weapon. A martial weapon is going to be something more that would require a little more training to use, whereas a simple weapon is something that anyone could necessarily pick up and basically use decently. A dagger, for example, is a simple melee weapon.
Right. Well, mine is apparently proficient with rapiers, so I was just wondering.
Oh, that's a martial, I think, yeah.
It is a martial.
Right. Rogues don't get rapier proficiency?
I mean, it literally says, proficiencies, weapons, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords.
Okay, yeah. So, you have all simple weapons and then those specific martial weapons.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Also, Teach, I'm taking that variant human, if you couldn't tell by my choosing a feat.
Yes, I figured. I definitely figured. Yeah. So my suggestion, OPT, and this is just me, rapier would probably be the weapon of choice because with Dex being your highest stat, any weapon that has the finesse label.
Oh yes. What does that mean?
You get to add your dexterity to the attack and damage as opposed to your strength.
Ooh, yeah. So totally did that. Because my dexterity bonus is modifier is actually stupid insane right now. I mean, it's 3, but I mean, that's, decently good.
Yeah, I mean, 3 is very, very good.
Right.
It's just Nora.
Right, yeah, I mean, yeah, no one's going to be there on that one. That's fine.
So, one other thing to note in 5e specifically is that your base scores cannot go above 20 unless by magical means. So once you hit 20 in a base score, you cannot go any higher unless there's a magic item that grants you that ability.
What was it, 20 you said?
Yep.
Or it's going to cap quick.
I don't know what these boxes mean down here.
Which boxes?
Down here, the tools and proficiencies and custom skills or other proficiencies. Obviously, languages, I get what that is.
Right, like tool proficiencies, for example, as a rogue, you're proficient with thieves' tools.
Gotcha.
So basically, it's just there so you can write down what tools you have proficiency with. So if I ask you for a roll with them, you can add, for thieves tools, for example, it would be, okay, you're proficient in thieves tools, so go ahead and make a thieves tool proficiency check. Type of deal.
Gotcha. Guessing that's a dexterity thing, right?
Yeah, more than likely, yeah. You would need those to pick a lock, for example.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the most important question is, how much are you guys going to hate me if I bring in mimics?
I love mimics.
I'm not opening the chests.
Have you fought a mimic in D&D yet, Nora?
Mimics in D&D are sticky.
I fought a spider and died.
I gave a demon a mimic pet that the party fed like gems to, and it was all happy and following it around for a while, like a puppy.
That is totally something I would do.
Right, so let me see here. The other worst thing is, if I buy this weapon I'm looking at, I literally run out of money even though I'm on level 2.
Yeah, that's my problem too. Because there's a component for all my spells that I really, really, really want, but it eats up 70% of my money.
What is it?
It's a pearl.
What spell is it for?
For identify.
Okay. Does identify consume the pearl?
It doesn't.
Okay.
I checked that.
Okay. Because I know there are some spells that just require it as a focus for the spell.
Right.
And others that consume it.
I was concerned about that, but yeah, it does not consume it. And her entire thing is like studying scrolls and magical artifacts and such, so she needs to identify stuff.
Yes, she does.
I need the list of spells and the list of equipment.
Equipment's a little bit harder. I gave OPT a D&D Beyond link above. For the spells, I'm actually on that page right now, so I can just send that to you.
Well, your spells are different than his spells.
Don't worry, they give them all.
Oh, wait. Instead of this hand crossbow, I could just buy a whole bunch of daggers, couldn't I?
You could.
And just throw them all over the place. Ooh, I like that better.
That's fun.
I think my character would be less likely to do a bunch of crossbow action. But thinking about it, I'd definitely grab a bunch of daggers just so I could throw them. That makes all the sense in the world. I'm totally doing that. Screw crossbows.
Oh,
I'm not a crossbow kind of rogue.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just him with this backpack clanking full of daggers.
I'm just picturing the mysterious stranger. What are you buying? And just a jacket full of daggers.
Yeah.
I think of that every time I play D&D. I always have too much. It's well, it's stored somewhere. Open the coats.
There is a reason that one of the first items I give to every party once they reach a certain level is the bag of holding.
It just makes auto management so much easier.
It really does. And one of my favorite things is, as a party, if someone wants to get really creative, technically there's only 10 minutes worth of oxygen in a bag of holding, so...
Every party will do it at least once.
Yep.
What, throw something inside there or some...
Throw someone.
Throw someone. And and have them suffocate in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Worth it.
So, now the question that I have. Well, sort of the last thing on the general side of character stuff. Does anyone have enough of an idea of what they're going to be doing for a backstory to talk about it, or is that something we should wait for?
Before we go there, I think I'm supposed to pick skills or something like that.
Skills, yes and no. So your class gives you options of 2 skills, or maybe more. I don't know how rogues work. So as a rogue, you get more to become proficient in. Basically, when you're proficient in the skill, you get to add your ability bonus plus your proficiency bonus to it when you roll. In addition, your background that you end up choosing will give an additional couple of skills.
I'm assuming that is just checking the box.
Yeah, you click the box.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you're a rogue, so let me guess.
Stealth.
Stealth.
Sleight of
deception.
hand. Deception. Acrobatics for funsies.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, acrobatics, deception, sleight of hand, stealth. Sounds good.
It does.
Although, let's see, acrobatics or maybe perception, because I feel like that would actually be something I'd want to be somewhat decent at.
Remember, you do have the background as well, which will give you 2 more.
That's true. Okay, I'll pick the acrobatics for now, and then I'll figure out what the other one's going to be. I mean, those may change depending on how we do the background thing.
Jamie, just remember one thing.
Yeah.
I can also see and edit your sheet.
Yeah.
So I responded to you in your sub race.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I just put my race as the Lagus?
Lagoos, yeah.
Lagoos, and then the sub race is cat. I didn't know what to do with that.
Thanks, Teach.
Kind of made sense. What did he...
Jamie, sub race. Raccoon, because I can. My response, can you?
I mean, it's the answer is yes.
I mean, yeah, right. And the
It's in
answer,
the subreddit somewhere. Oh, I hope there's a background that gives me a component pouch, because those are expensive.
This is so weird flipping between 2 different character or classes. Like filling in all the fighter stuff and then trying to gauge in my mind what eventually is going to come with the Echo Knight.
Yeah. Spell component pouch, you're a wizard.
Yeah.
Take that. Like, I'm not going to make you buy a spell component pouch.
Oh, thanks, Teach.
Is there is the backstories thing somewhere? Or the
Backgrounds?
Yeah.
Just, all I've been doing is type, if the website goes D&D 5e backgrounds, and that's what I Google search.
Yeah.
Tej, question.
Answer.
Glaives are
Yes.
typically 20 GP.
Mm-hmm.
What is mine costing?
Oh, that's right.
where do you put your armor stuff at?
Armor stuff.
Like my studded leather that I bought.
It would. I want to say in equipment,
I don't know how to
And
make...
then-
Yeah.
and then you would just adjust your armor class accordingly. I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to, like, put in, like, the armor class from an item specifically. That I can tell so far.
No, I think it's you put it into like the item name section, and then you just adjust your AC accordingly.
Yeah. I don't know why this is giving me this. So this says 12 plus dex modifier, so...
Yeah. So basically that armor would give you a
15.
base of 12, and you'd add your dex to it.
So 15. So my AC is 15. Woohoo.
I love how they did it in this game. It's armor gives you a base, and then you add... I love how that works. It's so much more streamlined than... You know, you have this, and you can only add so much of your dex modifier, blah, blah, blah. Back to the glaive. Oh, boy. Just go 20 for now, and we'll call it 20 in a favor.
20 in a favor? I don't like that. I mean, to be honest, it really does nothing than just provides concept rather than benefit.
Yeah. Which is why I said 20 in a favor. Whether or not I cash in the favor is entirely different. So, you hit the roll button there. So real quick, OPT, click on the word rapier for me. In the chat box, click on the word. So that's how you get your damage. Once you roll, you click on the weapon name and it will roll your damage.
Okay. So what's this 18 and 4 thing?
So in the settings right now, it's got you.
Oh, that's right. We did this before.
And it's just advantage. Yeah. So
I'm just gonna turn that off. So, Question, with the rapier finesse thing, do you add dex to damage or the actual attack roll?
Both.
Okay. So it's actually, so my attack roll is dex, and then my damage is plus dex. Wow, okay, cool.
Right, because the rapier is a weapon that does that.
Right. Okay, now I just gotta remember where the heck that option was at. Wait, here it is. Alright, so...
Is there a spot to put the background in, or do you just add it?
I believe it's on the front page, yeah.
I don't see.
Yeah, or under bio. If you look right under where you put like your race, sub-race, there's core bio and spells. Click on bio, you can put your background in there.
I don't see a window for. I see backstory.
Or backstory.
The background. Basically, there's a couple of things: personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws are part of the background. So you can put those there if you wanted to. And you could just make a note of it wherever you wanted to for what your background is, per se. The big thing is the big thing about the background is I don't necessarily care what the name of it is, but it gives you, like, every background comes with a little ability. Like, for example, there is one of the performance backgrounds basically allows you to, make stay in making a little money by performing type of deal. So each one has a little skill like that you can use as well when you're in towns, things of that nature. That and the skills are really the most important thing about the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get a skill proficiency, you just click the box?
Yep.
Okay.
That's fantastic. One other thing when it comes to backstories, I've sort of created the big overarching macro side of things when it comes to Legaria. Backstories, for the most part, are micro. So if you want to be from, you want to create whatever artisans guild you're from, or whatever town buried in the deep jungles of Niamante you're from, or anything like that, go for it. So.
Okay. So that means we don't have to be from the Eagle.
No, you don't have to be from Eagle's Guard at all. You don't have to be from Argenti. You don't have to be from Heronvale. You can be from, a small little hermit village on the outskirts of Niamende. You can be from a farming village, in the middle of, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Yes, I am naming my glaive after Sleipnir.
Question. When something gives a range of like 20-60, what does that mean exactly?
I mean, it means, so it's a ranged weapon. Within 20 feet, you're fine. You can use it, not a problem. If you're anywhere between the 20 and 60-foot range, you can still attack, but you do it at disadvantage.
Got it.
Anything past 60 feet, you cannot do.
Right.
Oh, sweet. I get 10 gold for my choice. Kind of.
It says dagger is 1d4 piercing. Does that include when you throw it?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Oh, if you can find a way to throw a dagger and slash somebody with it, I'm impressed.
No. I guess I meant I wanted to make sure it was still the 1d4 thing, because I was just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I got a burglar's pack, too, because burglar's pack.
Because, how many times we're going to make the cat burglar joke?
Oh, Absolutely. Did you? There's a reason why I grabbed this. Just saying.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. The way Krim, you have your camera set up, and the way on my screen it's next to Nora, it looks like you and Nora. Like it looks like Nora's there, and then you're like his kid sitting next to him, watching over his shoulder.
It kind of does.
You have the same kind of chairs.
I'm amused.
And because they have the same shirt color on too.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have thieves' tool, studded leather armor, rapier, a dagger, and a burglar's pack. I guess I should probably... Do we need to buy, like, supplies and shit?
I am under the impression that the way I like to handle it is I assume if you're planning on traveling and adventuring, you have the standard, backpack, bedroll, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want anything more extravagant, that you purchase.
Right.
But backpack, bedroll, I assume you have that. I'm not going to get it. It's like a wizard and his spell component pouch.
Right.
That's something you should automatically have based on the class you're playing. So,
like, what about like rations and stuff like that? Same thing.
Basically, sort of the same thing. The only time I will have rations come into play is if the way you guys go, you decide you're going to be on a long journey, and typical rations you come in 10-day supplies.
Yeah,
you've been doing 2-week travel, so someone's going to have to roll survival to find you all some food.
Makes sense. But like your basic travel to different city.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you'll let us know when the difference happens.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can walk, but like I said, the main method of travel as well is through the Ariri River. So
there's a lot of boating in this then.
there is a lot of boating.
Oh,
Is there a lot?
It's terrible.
There's probably a lot of foreboding too.
I'm not going to honor that with a response.
You just did.
You just did.
I know.
And I'm over here just looking at things going, I don't get it.
Trust me, I don't get most of this either.
Yeah.
Also, Tej, I may or may not use them, but I have to know, what would kunai fall under?
They're not a specific weapon?
No. Would they be darts or dagger? I would assume darts because they're...
Well, considering that you can also hold and you can throw kunai, I imagine it's more like a dagger. Because you can attack the kunai like in your hand.
I would say that it's treated like a dagger.
Okay.
So it's basically
I can choose to use them, so I know for damage.
Yep, yeah, treat it like a dagger. 1d4 piercing. Oh, and a finesse weapon, of course.
Right. That's why I don't know if I'd use them or not.
Kiki, they're technically diamond-shaped knives, but they're treated like daggers.
Mm-hmm.
Nora, I would ask what you don't get, but I know the answer is everything.
I mean, the answer to that is yes.
Luckily, I think your class is oddly similar to mine in terms of how it chooses spells, at least like the fact that you get a spell book. Well, not a spell book, but the fact that you get a spell list. Did you stuff from?
Yeah. This is weird because most parties don't have 2 intelligence-based classes.
I was actually a little bit afraid of choosing Wizard when Nora was choosing Artificer because I was afraid we'd double up. But we should be fine.
Well, here's the thing is, right now, based on what we have, Nora's the healer.
Yeah.
The tank and
No, you're not the tank.
let's be honest, I'm going to end up being the tank because that's just what happens.
I still want to make a strength-based artificer now.
I mean, there is an artificer subclass that allows you to walk around in a freaking mech suit.
Yeah, I looked at it and went, I've done this once. I don't do it again.
Aww.
So there is one other question I wanted to pose to the group.
Okay.
I wouldn't be going crazy with them, but thoughts on basic firearms, like flintlock pistols and the like.
I thought they had those in this game. I don't know.
Those are specifically at DM discretion, but I figured I would bring it up to the party.
I mean, as long as it's not like an instant kill shot.
No, they can actually jam and backfire and explode on you.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, only one of you is proficient in firearms.
Oh.
Artificers get that.
That guy got all those 18s. Forget him.
Yeah, I think I don't need to.
He becomes the first one to invent the shotgun.
If you invent the shotgun, I will make you roll for kickback every time.
I don't personally.
I'm not gonna say that there's potentially a long chain of DMs of me trying to bribe Tej to let me put potions as my bullets.
Which, that's why I brought up the firearms, because I love the concept of that.
You know what? I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I'm expecting like one of those like the big like muzzle kind of things that he shoots and just like sprays like potion stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
He just fires a musket.
There you go.
I know OPT's played. Chammy, Tej, Dark, have y'all played Overwatch?
Yeah,
at least seen enough of it.
I used to love playing it. Think Anna? The sniper, right?
The sniper.
Yeah, she was awesome. She was one of my favorite characters.
So I'm not necessarily a healing sniper, but I have a gun and have. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's
poison darts and stuff. Yeah, I get it.
Also, I'm looking at your spell stuff now, Nora. It's actually very similar to how I have to get my spells ready, so I can walk you through it.
We can. Okay, perfect.
So, any other questions about Lagaria or anything like that? Like character building questions we can go over during the week.
Yeah.
Or the because I know we're missing at least one next week. So yeah, any questions you guys want about the world, anything like that? Again,
if I think of them, I'll ask you later because I can't think of them right now.
I have sort of a question.
All right, sort of an answer.
Like, in terms of like technology base, like this world does have guns. It looks like. So how far along are we talking?
We're talking basic guns. We're talking things like flintlock pistols.
Okay. So that means all vehicles then are animal driven, right?
For the most part, one thing that does exist in the D&D lore is gnomes are tinkerers, and gnomes will make clockwork things. So
that's right. Okay.
Clockwork. So clockwork definitely would be a thing.
Okay.
And I happen to have that on my list.
I'm not saying that in the other game that I've been running for Mr. and Mrs. Cab that they were in a city full of cat people and there was a closet full of clockwork Roombas, but there was totally a closet full of clockwork Roombas.
Nice.
I'm not saying that that's my fault, but it's totally my fault.
This is also the same. This is also the same group of Tabaxi who their god that they worship is Angry Cat or Grumpy Cat, excuse me. And the holy symbol is a laser pointer.
Yes, he's not even making this up.
I'm not.
I didn't think he was.
Because
yes,
most of that probably more.
Oh.
Yeah, so clockwork automatons, gnomes do exist. They have they're very volatile. So yeah.
Cool.
But,
good stuff. And we can buy anything from the equipment list that's like on the basic equipment for starting stuff, right? That we can afford.
I mean, if you want something a little more specialized, let me know.
Of course. Okay.
No, you can't have a staff of power, but yes,
right.
You can have this particular weapon isn't on. I want a flail. That's not on a starting weapons. Can I have a flail? Yes, you can have a flail.
Right. All right. Since we're starting at level 2, Well, I guess we can talk about that later for like backstory stuff-ish. But like, how experienced do you expect our characters to be in terms of like characterization?
However you want them to be.
Gotcha.
Like level 2 basically mean level 2 in my estimation is kind of like you're like a sophomore in high school. You kind of know what you want to do. You kind of know how you are, but it very easily is subject to change without notice.
Right. I think I'm good.
Also, there is one thing. I know there is one thing I'm going to need from you, Chammy, between now and when we start. You will need a name for your book.
I will think about that.
And it will have to be a horrible pun, but yes.
No, it doesn't have to be a horrible pun.
No, not required. It's my character, Nora. It'll be a horrible pun.
Let's see.
It will be a horrible pun. Any other questions?
I mean, I'm sure I have them. I just don't know what they are right now.
Fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If nobody has any other questions, then thank you for those who decided to come and watch this sort of info dump, brainstorming, character building, smorgasbord of a session 0. We will be back in, I believe, 2 weeks for more Legaria. I know next week we have at least one person who is going to be missing, so no point in starting a brand new campaign if we don't have the full crew. At some point during this, we will more than likely get Dark up to speed with the character. I hope.
All once.
That would be his luck. I'll just give him one of your 18s.
I have plenty to loan out.
Oh, one other mechanic I forgot to mention. There is one sort of general mechanic I will kind of keep from Mutants and Masterminds. It's already built into the system. A mechanic called Inspiration. Basically, similar to how hero points work, Inspiration allows you to basically do a reroll. It can't fix the scene or anything, but it allows you to do a reroll. How Inspiration is rewarded is, good role-playing, doing something that's true to your character, that would be a poor decision, or just the general, like, the DM, like, you're here to take Inspiration, the dice have been screwing you.
Is there not, like, not hero power points or whatever? Like, whatever. Action points, thank you. There's not that in this?
Nope, it's Inspiration. You can spend your Inspiration if you have it to do a reroll.
I mean, that was like a 4E thing, I think. It's just, I was just scared. Yeah. I honestly didn't actually think they were going to carry that over.
Oh,
because those got kind
one
of
other thing.
Wait,
I will not be doing
3 other things now.
based experience. I'll be doing leveling up based on milestones.
I kind of
Makes
figured.
sense. Yeah.
It's not that I hate experience-based leveling, but, like, especially if the DM does a thing where it's like, you get the experience if you're there, but if you're not there, you don't get it, and then the party becomes all over the place.
Yeah.
Because the other thing with milestone leveling is, I can take into account, there was some awesome role play, so I can move up a milestone level. I can move there. It allows me to basically be like, okay, yeah, you guys did something cool. You guys can, X, Y, Z, this happened. So yeah, I can reward you in different ways. And with milestone leveling, I don't have to be, I have to calculate the 2, carry the 3. It's less math on my part.
Yeah.
The secret here is teachers don't want to do math on Twitch.
That's that. Yeah. No, when I ran a D&D campaign, I started using XP only to figure out what the heck the encounter should be, and then kind of went from there. But that was all I ever used. I didn't, because they were like first few whatever, they were like players were all about how much XP do we get, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just level you up when I feel like it's time to level you up. Just let me worry about it.
You will level up when I say to level up.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, there we are.
Mm-hmm.
So, one final last gasp for questions before we do the outro?
As I said, I'll probably have some, just I don't know them right now.
Bueller.
We have an outro?
No.
So, on behalf of the entire crew here, that of course being Chameleon Ice, Crimson Avix, the always late as always Norestra, and OPT Lawyer, I am your Dungeon Master, TGE, reminding everybody to, of course, as always, keep hailing.
Hi, everybody.